Welcome to another edition of the T1P podcast. I am joined today by the director of the Hudson Country Montessori School in Danbury, Connecticut, one of the first places I've ever worked as an educator, Mrs. Megin Meyer. How are you, Megin?
I'm well, Tyrone. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. So good to see you. So good to have you on the show.
You
Um,
too. You haven't changed.
well, come on now. You gotta
Maybe a
admit
little
this is
gray. Maybe a little
yeah,
gray.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's a little change. That's a little change. So Megin, where were you born?
I was born in Queens, New York.
Queens, New York. Okay,
Yes.
and where'd you go to school? As
Oh,
elementary, let's do elementary, middle, and then high.
okay. Well, I believe they changed the names, but elementary was public school 133.
Okay.
Then I went to junior high school 172, and I believe they changed the name, but I'm not quite sure. And
Mhm.
then I went to Martin Van Buren.
That's a high school?
That's a high school. I
In
went there
Queens.
for the in Queens. I went there for
Yep.
the first year, and then I came to Danbury.
Okay. So you was in Danbury throughout high school. You went to Danbury High.
Well, I've got a very interesting story. I'm not going to bore you
Okay.
with all of it,
You
but
dropped out.
I should bore you. I should bore you. Okay. I actually I went through a lot of stuff as a kid,
Okay.
and parents splitting up. Everybody's got their stuff. Everybody's got their
Right.
life, but
Right.
I ended up running away.
Okay.
And I lived on the streets of Danbury.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so there was a bakery on Main Street. It's not there anymore. There was a bakery on Main Street. I stayed right between the bakery and Palace Theater.
Okay. I know
So
where
my
that
mother,
is. Yep.
it very interesting. Then for a while, lived in a tent in New
Get out of
Fairfield
here.
until I was caught. Until I was
Okay.
caught, and then I was put in foster home.
My goodness.
So I
I
was a
never knew that.
foster yeah, I was
Yep.
a foster
Yep.
child for almost a year and a half, something
Okay.
like that. Um, but so I really didn't get good, solid educational foundation as a child because my
Um,
family would they're always moving.
yes.
Um, my mom, she had some struggles,
Mhm.
and there was, my gosh, one year where I was 9 and I was taking care of my 7-year-old brother in a house by ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy. It was a crazy life, but I think that is actually what brought me to who I am today.
Eh, Listen, it has to be, right? All of our past, like, experiences and what we go through kind of mold and shape us to who we are.
Right.
Before you go there though,
Yeah.
um, in elementary school, what do you remember from elementary school? Did you have were you a good student? Did you have a favorite teacher?
You know what? I did not have in any of my years, I don't think I had any really good.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, we bounced around so much. It wasn't like
Mm,
I had a
mm, mm.
solid teacher I can say left such an impact on me, you know?
Yeah.
I was Even though I was very rambunctious and
Mhm.
pretty a naughty child, so they called me. Um, okay. I was also very shy.
Really?
So, yeah, yeah, I was very shy. And I think it was because of, again, what we were going through as a family. You
Yeah.
know, you had to keep part of it, you had to keep part of it quiet. And then the other part was, So elementary, I don't remember any teachers. I can tell you that in junior high school, there
Yep.
was a history teacher, and I forget his name. At one point, I'm sure I'll remember it, but
Yep.
he was so kind to me. I remember him being very kind.
Yep.
Um, because I think he understood what was going on. Um, High school, okay, here we go. I actually got my GED
Okay. Okay.
because of, I was homeless. I was on the street. So I got my
Mhm.
GED at
Right.
21.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you got
Yeah.
it though. You got
Oh,
it
yeah,
though.
I got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I got it.
And how
Yeah.
did you gotta continue with this. This is very interesting. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to
No,
relive any
that,
traumatic moments or anything, but it's an excellent story.
uh,
Because from where you are now or from when I met you, you wouldn't even know any of that, right?
right,
So
right.
how'd you get into education?
Okay, so, well, first I started with early childhood. Okay,
Yep.
so because of, again, what I went through, I did, babysitting here and there and childcare here and
Mhm.
there. Um, I taught gymnastics. I learned it very quick.
Yeah.
I'm a very, very fast learner when it comes to hands on stuff. So
Okay.
I would learn a couple of routines and then add into some of them. Like at the YMCA, I worked at the Y in Danbury.
Yep.
So I would learn a couple of those routines and then I'd be able to teach them. Um, and it kind of started from there. I moved to Maryland for a while.
Uh-huh.
Um, that was my second husband. So I moved to Maryland and I worked at Gerstung Intersport, which is like one of is the most huge gymnastic,
Oh, right.
programs in the world.
Okay.
So Gerstung was like amazing. So I learned a lot there. Then I came back to Danbury and just started working more with children,
Yep.
in that capacity. And then doing parties. I was doing parties and I just had this connection to children and I just felt the need to continue on. And,
Okay.
the way you
So wait,
continue on,
when
yeah.
you say doing parties, what do you mean? Like throwing birthday parties for kids and stuff like that?
Yeah, doing parties, at the gym place or,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, doing
Yep.
parties. Um, yeah, yeah. Then I started doing them on my own. I started doing parties. I had my own materials of the parachute and the this and the that
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just
Oh, the
having a good
parachute thing.
time. Yeah, the parachute thing. Gotta love it. You
Yeah,
gotta love it. I still love it.
I know.
It's a place I want to hide sometimes. It's just going to the parachute.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just started working more and more with children.
Mhm,
And just in the fun capacity, there was no real, I mean, there was responsibility, of course, but
mhm.
it was just fun. It was just absolutely fun. So yeah, I mean, that's how I got into it. That's how I got into it
Yeah.
was just, slowly babysitting and then, I mean, to go through my whole life would
Right,
take
right,
weeks, but jumping around, I started when I came back from Maryland, okay, in
Mhm.
1993.
Okay.
I came back from Maryland, moved back to Danbury, and I was working at this little place. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I drove a school bus, right? I loved
Oh my
that job.
gosh,
I
really?
did. I did. My kids loved me. Let me tell you, I had those Tootsie Roll Pops every Friday. I did
Oh,
elementary,
yeah?
middle, high school. Kids were great. They
Wow.
were great. Um, so,
Who
but I
wait a
was
minute,
also
who enjoys wait a minute, I'm sorry, I just gotta pause you a minute. Who enjoys driving a school bus with a bunch of rambunctious kids on it? Really?
I gotta tell you, I did. I did. I really I enjoyed them. They were crazy kids,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the high schoolers though. They were always fun. They were just the
Really?
conversations I would hear. And, I just putting out there, I was nice,
Yeah, of course,
if
it's paid to be nice,
if
yeah.
the
'Cause and you
yeah,
know that, like, going to school,
yes.
I've had, like, mean bus drivers, "Sit down, be quiet, whatever," drive over bumps on purpose, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you have
yeah. No,
the
I don't
nice
wanna
bus
no, I
drivers
never did
chew up
that.
everybody. Okay, you
I
never did
did
that.
some really silly things that I had no idea I wasn't allowed to do, like the last day seriously, oh my god, looking back, the last day, of school, of driving,
Yep,
I stopped by a pizza place and got 10 pies and brought the kids to a park. Could you imagine if I did that now? Yeah. And I didn't,
Yeah.
I was just out to have fun with them, they let them run around a little bit and I gave them pizza and we got on the bus and dispatch
Wow.
is screaming at me, "Where
Like,
bus
what's going on?
52?"
Yeah, you would be fired. You would be
Oh,
fired
I'd
for
be
sure.
arrested. Are you kidding? I mean, like kidnapping of 40 children, I'd be
Right.
arrested. But
Okay, alright, we go past bus driver now, but that was
okay,
cool.
so while I was driving a bus though, I also worked at this place called the Little Gym in Ridgefield.
Mhm.
And as much as I loved teaching there, it was a little too stressful for me with the
Mhm.
the owners. Lovely people, but just not my kind of place. And then
Okay.
one day I get a call from my girlfriend, and she said that there was a school that just opened up in Danbury. This is where we're going. Just
Yep.
opened up in Danbury, and her children were going there. Now, this girl was my best friend, and she said, "It's so funny, Megan, because the director at the time, her name is Maria
Yep.
Fitzgerald, my idol,
Yep.
complete Montessori, amazing woman.
Okay.
Um, she, I guess, had spoken to my friend and said that they were looking for a gym teacher.
Okay.
And, so she called me up and she said, "I told her about you and you're going there next week." And that's it. And I did, and I got the job. I taught theater because I did go to theater classes in Manhattan.
Okay.
Um, when I was still kind of homeless, but I did got
Yep.
on the train every Saturday and went. Um, so I taught, a little bit of drama there at the
Okay.
school, and then I taught gym. So I was teaching children as little or having fun, I should say, with children as little as the infants up to
Mhm.
at that time 4th grade. And that
Wow.
was at the Montessori school. So I've been at the school since it was a month, not even a month open.
And it's the same school now
The
that you're a director
same
of now.
school now. Yes, yes. So I
I
went
love
from teaching gym and drama to the before school and after school program. You know about that.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Camp. So I just
Camp, this is
kept
my jam
kept
too, camp.
going. Yeah. Well, it's easy to in a small environment like that, it's easy to move your way up because you
Mhm.
know the school. You
Right.
know
Right.
it. And you know how to run it because you've been there, and you've
Yeah.
you've basically done everything from opening to close.
So, talk about you're in this Montessori school, right?
Uh-huh.
You haven't been to Montessori school as a student in the past before this, but now you're here and we have this unique way of teaching and students in class at different levels. And you got older kids with younger kids and all this type of stuff. Can you give us like a generic definition of what a Montessori school is all about?
Sure. Montessori, and it'll be short, but
Yep.
Montessori is a way of teaching. It's allowing children to be interested in what they're interested in and to
Yeah.
channel that through their work. So
Okay.
having children ages 3, 4 in kindergarten, you have 3-year-olds that are like the baby of the house,
Mhm.
then 4 middle childs, and then kindergartners I call the rulers of the roost. All right.
Yep.
Um, and it works out really well because the children learn from each other. They may be kindergartners, but they're now teachers because they teach the younger children. I call Montessori teachers crows. All right,
Okay.
because their job is to present lessons and then just fly around the classroom, making sure everybody's busy doing what they're doing. And that goes right up to, lower L, first, second, and third grade. You know,
Okay.
can you hear my dog? Because I will shut my door.
No, I
I
can't hear you. It's
okay,
all
good.
good.
So first, second, and third grade. So once they graduate out of kindergarten,
Yep.
now they're back to the bottom of the totem pole again. So now they're first graders,
Okay.
the newbies of the classroom. And they're
Okay.
looking up to the third graders. Now, with Montessori, the difference really, if you're going to ask for the difference between Montessori and public school, is
Mhm.
every child has an individual work plan because every child learns differently. Okay. So some children are really, really bright when it comes to language and
Yep.
science. but yet they struggle with math. Very
Okay.
rare do you get a math struggling with science because, it's
Mhm.
it's pretty comfortable. But they're able to, work at their own pace. It's not everybody's not doing the same thing at the same time. Some children may get lessons in groups if they're ready for
Yeah.
it. Um, but then they just go off and they do their own plan. We do, map testing and, just to
Okay.
make sure we're on par and whatnot. But
Yeah.
our children do amazing. They're very independent. We start them very young, at even toddlers and infants of being independent, getting their own food, pouring their own juice, getting their own snack when it comes to the babies.
Right.
Primary, it's, putting on their own stuff, taking out their lessons, putting them back the way they received them. We
Mhm.
teach a lot of grace and courtesy,
Yeah.
please and thank yous. And, when children bring in a snack or something to prepare for the other children, let's see, bananas, they're cutting them, they're putting
Right.
little toothpicks in them and they're serving them. And if a child says no, it's so important for that child to understand that hearing no is okay. It
Right.
doesn't mean
Right.
you're not my friend and you don't like me. It's just no, no, thank
Right.
waiting for our friends before we eat lunch. We try to make it as family oriented or as families kind of we believe should be oriented,
Right.
um,
Right.
as we possibly can.
So
So,
is this something where like parents have to really, really buy into what you're doing if they're gonna allow their kids to come to a Montessori school? Like a parent has to be like, you're like, listen, this is what it's gonna be like. Don't have your child come in here and go against the grain because it's not gonna
right.
happen. Like, can you kick people out of there?
We're private. We
Okay.
can.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
unfortunately, we have. And, it's
Right.
funny because we and I tell this to parents all the time, especially when I'm doing tours. I don't kick children out. I kick
Right.
parents out.
Okay. Okay.
Unfortunately, the children have to go with them, but
Mm.
I don't kick children out. We have many children with abilities and
Yeah.
many children that struggle in areas. We're far from a special ed school, but we do have children that have needs,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so it's not like, oh, that child's that way and we don't want them. It's,
Yeah.
you have to understand that respect gets respect. And, how we talk to children is
Yep.
respectful. And we expect the same from the parents.
Yes. Yes.
So buying in, yeah, I mean, they what they have to buy into is you're dropping your children off, you're trusting us with their education. We're going to
Yep.
ask you to do A, B, and C, which means don't bring them to Kumon, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's completely different than how we teach them.
Different way. Yep. Okay.
Yes, Kumon, I think. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
We ask them certain things, but we also love parents being involved. That we
Right.
love them being involved in the school and asking questions. And we have education nights, just talking about Montessori and, the agency and just, we try to keep up with all the new lingo and,
Right. Right.
and it's really everything that we do, which we kind of crack up. Sometimes when they come up with new language and we're like, yeah, we do that. Oh, that's new.
So
Maria Montessori was amazing.
what's the grade levels in your particular building?
In our building, we have 8 weeks old to 8th grade.
I want you to say that again, please.
8 weeks old, little bambinis
Oh my
to
god.
8th grade.
The 8th grade. So is there so much in that, right? I used to be a
Yeah,
principal of a K-8 school, and we had pre-K, and we even had Head Start. So I did have, like, 3-year-olds or 2-year-olds, like, in Pampers and Head Start, and 3-year-olds, and then I got
mm,
all the way up to 8th grade as well, and
right.
it was crazy. But it was fun. We
Yes,
talk to the kids, talk to the younger kids. I love the model of the older kids teaching the younger kids. Like, I could see that happening, and I love the model
right,
of everybody having an individualized plan because people learn differently, like you said. It's just
right.
harder to do that in a public school model like I currently
Oh,
work.
yeah.
How many kids in a class?
Let me see. Lower at well, it depends.
Yeah.
It's funny because this is something else I say when our numbers go down after K
Yep.
and people wonder why, and I'm like, because you can't beat free. You know,
Yes.
you just
Yes.
our
Yes.
children when they leave us in kindergarten, they're reading second and third degree level. So when they go to public school, the teachers love them, okay,
Right.
because
Right.
they're
Right.
absolutely prepared and they're independent and they ask for work,
Mm.
they don't we don't allow whining in our school. Um uh,
Mm.
I'm sorry, I forgot the question you
No,
asked.
no, no. It was just how many kids are in the class. So you were talking about
Oh, okay,
a
so it
lot in kindergarten,
depends.
but you lose them. Yeah.
Okay, so it depends. Right this year we have about 26 lower elementary, first, second, and
Mhm.
third grade together. Upper L we
Oh,
have about 10, and middle school, which is sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, we only have 6.
oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
we had a lot graduate last year. We had a new one come this year, and she's just a love. But it's a very small environment, so children have to
Yeah.
understand that too. It's, you know, yes, being social and learning how to be
Mhm.
social, you get that when you're younger. When you're
Right.
in middle school, it's time to up the ante to get ready for high school, you know?
There's so many questions I want to ask you, right? So one is I'm gonna go back for a second and then I'm gonna remember to ask this other question. But
Yeah.
how did you end up being director? Like did you want to be like did you want to run stuff, so to speak, or you just kind of like got tricked into it or you know what I mean?
I got pushed into it. I think that being being part of that community. By the way, when I first heard Montessori,
Yep.
I thought it was a religion, like
Oh,
Maimonides. Okay. So
yeah.
I was very ifsy on it. I'm like,
You thought you
I'm
was getting into a cult?
yeah, well that's it too. I mean, people have
Yeah.
called it a cult too. So I
Okay.
wasn't quite even sure what it was. It wasn't until I grew into what I
Yeah.
was doing to understand it, to understand the benefits and what it was really all about. Everybody around me was Montessori trained. They training in Montessori is huge and it's a lot of
Yep.
work. And I wasn't. So, I just did a lot of listening and a lot of observing and a lot of watching on what was going on because like I said, that's kind of how I learned.
Yeah.
Um so it was that's kinda how I became the director. It was just, I was a gym teacher and then after school and then camp director and then assistant director and then
Yeah. Just kept coming in,
director.
coming in.
Right,
Right.
and because I knew all the ins and outs, it was easy. I
Yeah.
knew how to hire. I knew the filing paperwork. I knew the application process. I knew licensing, regulations. I knew all of it. Of course, it changes. It's always changing.
Right.
But, I knew all of it. So it was very easy to say, okay, well, Megan will do it. Give it to
Right.
Megan, And I'm like, okay. Do I get more money? I'm fine. Do it.
And now that you're in the position, I know you guys are in Danbury. This is the question I had wanted to ask as well. I know the population of Danbury. Danbury is a very diverse town, or it was very diverse when I was there. We had people from all over the place.
Right.
Um, is there opportunities and it's a private school? We don't have a lot of public Montessori schools around there. I was fortunate to work at Hartford, where we have 2 public Montessori schools.
I
They're
know.
magnet schools. We gotta do the lottery for them. But is there any way that, you run a lottery program or scholarships for people? Can people get aid to attend in another way? Or is it just straight up,
Yes.
"Listen, you gotta have it." Oh, okay.
No, 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 no. So we are part of school readiness.
Okay.
And are you familiar with school readiness?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured you were. Um,
Yeah.
so yes, we have 23 slots. We used to have more, but now we have 23. We also, I know we take care for kids
Yep. Yep.
and we also give financial aid.
Nice.
We give financial aid, especially we don't do it for infants
Right.
because we'd be
Yeah. Ooh.
forget it. We'd be in infant school. But we give it for our families that are in need.
Mhm.
as well as, well, of course, families are in need, but our financial aid is really focused more on our first through eighth graders.
Yep.
But if there is a younger child and they're past that point of school readiness,
Yep.
right? Because school readiness is 3 and 4 year olds, right?
Yep.
If they're past that point and we know that, the child will benefit and the parents are, you know, they're all
Yeah.
in,
Yep.
then
Great parent.
then they'll get financial aid.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a good setup. Do you have any okay, so when do you recruit for kids to come in? Like, is it open enrollment all year long, or
Yeah.
is it a specific window?
Yeah, we have about 32 different cultures in our school, which we absolutely love.
Mm.
So it's a rolling enrollment because we have children that come from Germany and Italy and India. And so we can't just say this is when the doors are opening because, I mean, just last week I had a family come in. They're like, my child needs to start next week. We just got here from Texas. And right from there, we
Nice.
got here from India. And I'm like, oh my Lord, that's not happening. But we made something work.
Yep.
Um, so it is a rolling arrest. As long as we have space and it's a good fit, we take them in. We start the we start, well, advertising and whatnot.
Yep. Yep.
Usually in January, no, usually in March, like around now, the end of
Okay.
March is when we
Yep.
kind of send our stuff out with our camp information and things like that.
Yeah, because you guys do camp as well over the summer.
Yeah.
Um, Loved camp. Well, we went to Howling Taverns or something like that.
Yeah,
They
Yeah, you
yeah,
remember that
yeah,
Howl Taverns?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy. So the school itself,
Caverns, not taverns,
ca
caverns.
caverns, yes,
Caverns,
sorry.
yes. No, we didn't bring the kids to a bar. Okay.
We didn't go somewhere drinking over the summer. No, no,
No,
no, no.
no, no, no.
Good catch though. Um, so with your school, you got those 32 different, nationalities and cultures and stuff in your
Yeah.
building. Is there any type of special curriculum that you guys have? Like, do you just teach off the standards that Connecticut offers, like regular fourth grade math standards, or social studies for seventh grade and eighth grade? Like, how do you get your curriculum for what to teach them? Because you said you did map testing. That's why I'm asking.
We do map testing, absolutely. But
Yep.
our curriculum is a Montessori curriculum. Okay.
Okay.
So there are times that we teach biology. Let's say
Yep.
for the older levels. There's a This year we may do biology, next year we may do something else in science.
Okay.
Math is math.
Yep.
Everything with Montessori is hands-on, even in the upper levels.
Okay.
Okay, so they're still using, the cubes and the beads and
Right. The little abacus things and stuff like.
yeah,
But
they're using all of them.
translate that to pencil and paper, right? And writing
Oh
and
yeah, oh yeah,
stuff
absolutely,
like that.
absolutely.
What's the what's your take in your building on technology? I know when I was there, and nobody had a computer, nobody had anything.
No.
What's the computer world like in Montessori?
Okay, so what we believe is children should have no screen time. Okay,
No, wait,
screen.
no, wait, time out. Time out. You said no screen time.
Yes, the younger children. Now, okay, let
Okay.
me finish. Let me finish.
Okay,
We're
I'm
not.
sorry. I cut you off.
No, no, it's okay because I did say that. Um, there's something with the eyes and the two-dimensional and the three-dimensional and the one-dimensional. So, without getting into all of that, when
Yep.
children are looking at TV constantly, it does something to their brain. We know that.
Yep.
Okay. If the children come home from school and they've got homework and they do their homework, and in Montessori we have a little homework, they
Mhm.
do their homework, and the parents are settling with a glass of wine while the children are sitting there playing Parcheesi. No, you want them to watch. They want to watch something on TV. They can watch something on TV. We're not opposed. but
Right.
we do not bring it into the school. So when you come into the school, every classroom does have a flat screen now. Okay.
Okay.
But
Yep.
the only thing we put on there is, let's say they're learning about whales.
Yep.
Okay. We've recognized that, even though Maria Montessori was, old school,
Yep.
there is some flexibility. So we don't want to be behind the times, as well as we don't want children to miss out.
Right.
So it's like taking a child that lives in the city and has never been exposed to a cow, and you tell
Yeah.
them to draw a cow,
Yeah.
okay? So there are children in our school that have never been exposed to a whale, all right?
Hmm.
So it's nice to see them in there, even though it'd be great to see them in the ocean. It's
Right.
nice to see them in their natural habitat and flying out of the ocean, you know? Um, so we'll use the TV or, the internet for that. As
Right.
for, the children having computers,
Right.
only middle school. We allow
Okay.
middle school to have computers, because we know that there's a benefit. They need to learn how to type on it. They all
Yep.
know how to type anyway. They
Right.
all
Right.
know.
Right.
But, they're doing more presentations and they're doing more,
Mhm.
research. And,
Okay.
we're just kind of getting into the whole AI thing, or
I was
AI
gonna ask you about
world.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. But the younger children do not.
Okay.
We give them no work on the computer. Um, it's just for us, there's no benefit at first, second, third grade or fourth grade. Fifth grade, you're teetering a little bit, but
Mhm.
the younger, there's no need for it. So again, we're not completely opposed to
I
certain
got you.
things. I mean, honestly, it's none of my business what you do at home. Okay.
Right. Right.
But
But when you come
when
here.
you're in my home,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
then there's things we do and things we don't do.
Now, what about okay, so that's what about your teachers and your teaching staff? Do they
Yeah.
use AI to help them plan or do lesson plans and stuff like that? Do you use is AI allowed in the building?
Well, I could tell them not to, but that doesn't mean they're
Right.
not going to try. I mean, I'm
Right.
guilty of using AI when I'm
Of
writing
course.
someone a note or a letter,
Right.
and I'm
Right.
like, I just need to get this out, and I just don't
Mhm.
have the brain function right now to do it. Um, I find though AI could be very addicting, and it could be a crutch where
Mm,
you're not thinking anymore. You're just relying on this
just
computer to
typing it
think for
up.
you.
Yeah.
Um, do they use AI? No. Do we
Okay.
allow them to? No.
Okay.
But I have to say that Mr. Meyer is an AI fanatic. Okay. The head
Mark
of
is a geek.
school,
Yeah, Mark's a geek, so okay.
he's total geek and loves AI. And he's like, okay, do this thing and ask Gemini first. Oh, ask Rock
Right.
first. Ask chat first. I'm like,
Sure,
oh my
right, yeah,
God. Yeah. So we Montessori is very, it's very spelled out,
okay.
the curriculum for what from first to third grade is very concrete. So, can they tweak it a little bit? They can, but they don't need AI for that, you
Yeah,
know?
okay. What about, with your I'm gonna just go middle school because 'cause I'm sure you don't have it for your younger kids. What
Yeah.
about cell phones in school?
Okay. So cell phones, when the children come in, they have to put it in a basket.
Okay.
In the
So
classroom, they have
they
to put
can't
it in a
have them,
basket.
and there's no
Yeah.
fighting back on that or anything like that.
No.
Um,
No. Well, again, a very small amount of children.
right,
They're
right,
they're not gonna fight me, okay?
right.
They're gonna, and I tell you, you're just gonna lose. My
Yep,
house, my rules,
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
You're not keeping
yeah.
it in your locker so you could go to the bathroom 10 times, all
Right,
right?
right.
No, no. So, you know, some of our children take the bus, and we know how important it is for parents to have that
Right, have that
communication.
communication.
So, absolutely, they can bring their phones in. But they're not using them. They in case of an emergency when they leave the school, that's different.
Okay. you were talking about, we were off camera and you were talking about how you were thinking, I say thinking of, but you probably already hammered it out, retiring
I
this year.
am.
What does that mean for you? Right, we say we retire, but your love of kids, right? How you
I
were brought up,
know.
I know how you were brought up had everything to do with what you're doing now. So you cannot stop working with kids, can you? I mean,
No, I can't.
yeah,
I can't. So my retirement world has already been planned out for me. I don't know how that happened. Okay. But um I'm gonna be doing some teacher workshops
yep,
on peace and mediation for children. I am trained as a mediator as well.
okay.
Um and I'm still teaching drama, but I'm expanding it now. So I'm teaching it in Danbury as well as New Rochelle.
And we're at in those places at the college
Oh no,
at
at
the
the schools, at our school.
at your school, you're still gonna
At
be
our
teaching kids
school.
at your
Yeah.
you
You
ain't
gotta come
retiring.
see one of our shows, let me tell
What
you.
about you retiring? You know, I was a theater arts major in college in Danbury up there too
I
at
didn't
Western.
know that.
Yeah, I was a elementary ed, but I was also theater arts. So yeah, teaching, acting, that was my thing as well.
Oh.
So yeah, you're not really retiring though. You're talking
Well,
about from the role maybe.
I'm
Okay.
retiring from being the director.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
I'm I'm retiring. We already hired a new director.
Really?
Yeah, so it's kind of difficult me going to school and she's there and it's like, what do
Okay,
I do? What
still
does
there.
she do? You know?
Are you getting pushed out already?
Oh, I wish they would push me out, okay? They're not pushing me out.
Right, right.
No, I was part of the process of hiring someone.
For sure.
Um, and she's wonderful. She's
Mhm.
wonderful. She's not mean. That's to me that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've gotten
Something
very soft in my older age,
Yeah.
and she's not like that, but she's very professional, very good at what she does. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just don't want to be director anymore. I want
Okay.
to, be free to do other things.
Yeah. That's good.
And we are looking for property for my little farm. I want a little homestead.
Okay. What are you gonna have on your farm?
Okay, so I'm going to have 2 goats, 2
Okay.
Highland cows. I want 2 Highland cows. I already have chickens and ducks, and if this goes to Danbury, I hope nobody squeals on me. But I
Right.
have chickens and ducks already. Who, by the way, make the best eggs. All right, they're just the best
You
eggs.
already started. Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. For years, I've had them.
Wow. Okay.
Um, Let me see. A donkey. Did I say
What what
donkey?
why would you want a donkey?
Donkeys are real protectors. They protect the
Okay.
flock.
Okay.
Yeah, and where we're hopefully going to live, not sure yet, but it's going to be between here and New Rochelle.
Okay.
Um, oh, there's wild animals out there. We need that donkey to protect.
Okay.
And
I don't know anything about that, but all right. Okay, if you want a donkey,
yeah,
you can have a donkey.
thank you. I want a donkey.
Okay, so your plan is to retire. You really want to farm, but you're still gonna work
Yeah,
with your kids as well.
yeah,
I do have some more to ask about the school because, coming
yeah.
from a
Please,
school space,
yeah,
just wanting to know, like, so when it comes to discipline in your school, right? Do you have
yeah,
anything, and you talked about being a mediator,
yeah.
uh, there has to be some conflict resolution that goes on in the classroom between different grade
Right,
levels or ages and stuff like that. Is there a
right.
proactive program that you use to
I
handle that?
Yeah, yeah. I teach peer mediation.
Yep.
So at fourth grade, I teach a course in peer mediation. And what we have found is teaching them at that age, I could teach younger, okay, but teaching them at that age gives them the ability to work out issues.
Hmm.
Um, and it's really worked. I mean, it's been amazing on, you know, how to deal with conflict, how
Yeah.
to deal with, I mean, we could get in what makes conflict happen,
Right.
but teaching them and giving them the skills on how to use their words appropriately
Mhm.
and with strength, okay, is so important. So the children from fourth grade to eighth grade already have those skills, as well as being able to come. Believe me, they mess up sometimes and they end up in my office.
Right.
But we work it out as a unit. We don't, point fingers, and that's when I become a mediator, and
Yes.
I have to personally mediate, the situation.
Mhm.
Um, but there's, again, going back to how many cultures we have in the school,
Yeah.
people believe different things, I
Right.
mean,
Right.
there's certain things I don't allow in the school unless
Yeah.
it is in leadership class, which is done by Mr. Meyer.
Okay.
And they work out all kinds of stuff, working together, how the same thing,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's certain things we just don't I don't do politics in my school.
Right. Well, so I was gonna say, like, what's the
Mm.
biggest if there is a disagreement, what's or somebody gets in trouble or somebody has to write a referral on a student, right? Like this kid
Yeah,
misbehaved. So in my
yeah.
world, we get and live in the 612 world. And so I get
Okay.
everything from kids trying to be on their phone when they're not supposed to, them having a vape in the bathroom, them using inappropriate language to other
Right.
people. What's the biggest thing in your school that kids quote unquote get in trouble for?
Um, oh gosh. I would say probably having cliques because we're such a small
Mhm.
school. Having
Okay.
those little cliques and
Yeah.
not allowing someone into your little pod is the
Mhm.
biggest thing. And how you
Okay.
deal with that is the biggest
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
You know, we don't have children vaping. God,
yeah.
thank God. We have a couple of cuss words here and there,
Right, right, right,
the children know that it's funny, like they don't write on the walls and they don't
right,
vandalize
right, right,
anything. They
right,
know that there's a camera everywhere, all right,
right,
except
right.
for the
Yep.
bathrooms. Um, so I mean, if we have something that's big enough to come into my office, and that's
Right,
really the way I say it. If you guys can't
right,
figure it
right.
out and your teachers are not being able to figure it, you come to my office, then we got a problem.
It's gonna be a
Okay?
problem. Yeah.
It's a problem. So now we have to sit down and we have to work this out. And if we can't work it out, then the parents come in.
Right.
Okay.
I
And
got
then I
you.
have to mediate the parents. Okay. So
Oh, so here's a question on that, and I know we're
mm,
getting close to wrapping up. We're getting close to wrapping up.
yeah.
But with the parents, do
Mm,
you let parents, if there's a disagreement between their students, do you let them come together and try to solve the problem with each other? Because
absolutely.
really, okay,
Oh,
okay.
absolutely. It's actually mandatory.
Okay.
That,
Right.
it's
Okay.
hierarchy. If you've got problems at home and, parents talk,
Yep.
they talk and the children hear it and, you've got your child's side of the story. And
Yep.
next thing you know is, well, how dare they do that? And I can't
Yep.
believe it. And we're going to blah, blah, blah. No, that's okay that they say that at home. But now let's say that in a group
They
and see
come in
how
here.
far that gets you. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, no.
Okay. Eh, and you handle those well. I know
I
you do.
try. I try.
That's good because again, in some of these worlds out here, I'm in one of those worlds where, people principals in schools are hesitant to get the parents in the room with each other to try
No.
to solve the problem as well. Of course, when they're hot and they're up there and they're high, you don't want them coming in there to hash it out because it might get a little ugly. But if we
Yeah.
can calm them down and say we're gonna have a meet, we got to be able as adults to model how to handle conflict, respectfully. So,
Absolutely, and
kudos to
that's
you
why I
for that.
do it, and that's why we
Yeah.
do it that way.
Okay. So, again, educational podcast. Thank you for coming on. I asked
Yeah.
you to prepare something that everybody always has to prepare.
Oh god, it's downstairs.
Oh my goodness.
No,
Okay,
that's
well,
okay, I think I can
can you
shoot from
remember?
the hip.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is gonna be your top 5 TV shows or movies about school. And again, you start from 5 and you go down to 1, and with each one you gotta say why that is. Why did it make it to the list? Okay? You
Okay.
good? Ready?
Oh god, you're pressuring me. Alright. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
5, what you got?
Alright. I would have to say my 5th, which would probably be my lowest one, is To Sir with Love, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Um, that was a pretty intense time in the
Uh,
world.
now that was Sidney Poitier?
Yes,
Okay. That has
yeah.
made the list before. I have heard about it. Now I gotta go watch it. Now
Oh
I
my
gotta go.
gosh, you've never seen
I've
it.
never seen it. He went to England, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and
I
it
gotta see
was
it.
a scandal. It was so well done.
Okay.
One of the best movies out there when it comes to school.
Okay.
Um, and boundaries. Um, Let me see. My 4th one would be don't laugh at me, okay? But Welcome
Okay.
Back, Cotter, okay?
Listen, that's fine. That's just your list. And Welcome Back, Cotter was good. Did you have a
Uh,
crush on John Travolta? Is that
I did. I did. I used to dream about dancing with them, and that was my era. I mean, that was
yeah?
the time,
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Mona Lisa's eyes.
What is that?
Mona Lisa's smile. Sorry, Mona Lisa's smile.
Okay.
It's done with who's the woman that played in Pretty Woman? I forget her name. Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts. Yep.
Yeah, it was like the 1950s
Okay.
where she's a professor and she goes into the school of girls, and at that time it was the women were supposed to get married and have kids and live the
Yep.
life, and
Yep.
you weren't supposed to do anything. Basically you went to college just to learn those skills, how to be a
Wow.
good wife.
Yep.
And she tried to change the dynamic there, and she got a lot of pushback, a lot of pushback. Um, but at the end, you know, people got her. She
Okay.
left, but
Yep.
people got, what she was doing as they got older.
Okay.
They
Julia.
realized what she was doing. Yeah, it was
Mona
great,
Lisa
great
Spot.
movie. Mona
Okay.
Lisa's Smile, right. So it's 3. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Can't I just give you 3? Can't I just
No, you
stop at
gotta.
3?
Well, you stuck now. You gotta do two more. Two and
Okay, well
one.
then I gotta go downstairs because I wrote them downstairs. It's very difficult trying to get on the computer, you know, and my
That's
dog
perfectly
was
cool.
barking, and
Yeah, but that's okay, man. We have those things sometimes. I want to hear the complete list.
okay, okay.
We will allow
Hopefully
all
he
of.
didn't read you didn't eat my paper, did you? No, okay. Okay, I see it. See, I did do it. I promise I
Yep.
did do it. All right. So let me see. Here they are. Here they are. Oh my God, Kindergarten Cop.
Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes.
Yes, yes. It was school. He was in school, and how he took these children who were actual maniacs
Yep.
and towed the line with them. But he had such love, he
Yes.
did it with such love. I thought that's like one of my favorite movies. I actually played Kindergarten Cop at
Yep.
Halloween years and years ago when it was hot, right? Had a
Nice.
hat and I had the sweater. It was great. Uh, and then last but not least, yes, Lean on Me.
Lean on me. Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Really? Why lean on
I
me?
yeah, why are you so surprised?
Well, I'm just asking because I had honestly, when I first started doing the podcast, Lean on Me was number one for like my
Mhm.
first three guests. And then it disappeared from the list. It
Oh,
disappeared from the list completely. It wasn't even mentioned out of the top five. And now it's back. So I'm like, oh, Lean
really?
on Me is back.
Morgan Freeman rocked that movie. I
He
mean,
did.
he was with the bat. Oh my lord, he was so good, so good.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I love him as an actor anyway, but that was the pretty intense movie,
Yeah.
just kept you on your seat all the time. But what he did for those children and what
Mhm.
his expectations were. And I
That's
think
big.
that's where we lose things is what are our expectations?
Right.
Okay. And
Right.
you dumb it down, you're gonna get dumb it down. All
Right.
right. So your
And
expectations.
that's a great point that you brought up. I had another guest, James Jones, who talked about expectations and standards for people. And when Morgan Freeman in that role as Joe Clark came in, even to the staff, this is what we're gonna do. This is how it's gonna
Mhm.
be. And then to the students, this is how it's gonna be. And I'm gonna put you all on the stage, and y'all gonna be ushered out because we're not having this nonsense. Oh, you want to
Yes.
be here? You want to do this? This is how we're gonna do it. So yeah,
I love that. I absolutely, and as an educator, when you see things like that, you're like, there's hope. I mean, it's sad the way the world is going right now, and I'm not going to get
yes,
political on anybody,
yep,
but
yep,
it just really is, and especially sad for the teachers. I have so many friends who are, public school teachers, and they're just struggling so badly,
yep,
and my heart just goes out to them because they're wonderful people. They're
right,
absolutely wonderful people, and they're trying their hardest. But
yes,
when you have admin come in and they're hovering over your shoulder and must get this and must get that, I mean, I get that too. I get it too. Being administration, I get that you have to do certain things. But I am extremely blessed that I fell into this school the way I did and
mm-hmm,
how my career has gone. I mean, I actually went to college
yep,
and I went to Charter Oak in Bristol. I want to say
yep,
Bristol. And I got my bachelor's in early childhood.
yep,
And it took me a lot of years to do it because work full time, have kids,
mm-hmm.
but I did it and it's pretty awesome. And I'm ready
You
to
know,
retire.
I see. Listen, I don't know if I'm able to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so
Aw.
proud of you, just like because like you said, everybody has their own story. I got my own story. This is not about me, but um, just the fact that you came through what you came through, and I know your heart, and I know your toughness, and I know your grit, and the whole thing with the gym stuff and the having fun all the time, and I could see you throwing parties, but still being
Yeah.
strict and still being on top of your business.
Yeah.
You've been a
Thank you.
benefit to all the kids you've come across, right?
Oh,
So
I hope so.
I just appreciate you coming on the show. I wish you nothing but love and good luck in
Oh,
fake
thank
retirement.
you.
Fake retirement. But
I'm
this was
retiring. I'm retiring. It was so awesome to see you, and I love what you're doing. This is so cool. This is really
yeah,
cool.
again, just authentic conversations with
Yeah.
with with people I admire. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. All right.
So that's it. That's a wrap on this episode of the Teach One podcast. But I do have some homework for you. You got to subscribe, you got to like, you got to share with your teaching besties, and then comment on your favorite takeaways. That's your homework. Seriously, thanks for tuning in and being part of this amazing community of educators. Keep inspiring, keep growing, and remember you're teaching one student at a time and making all the difference. So, see you on the next episode.